Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good morning, distinguished participants here. And my name is Yunita Idris, and I'm honored to serve you as your moderator for the 34th TDMRC seminar series organized by Tsunami and Disaster Mitigation Research Center, Syah Kuala University. Today, we will reflect on lesson learned from the 7.7 Mandalay-Myanmar earthquake, which occurred on March 28, 2025. Before we begin the main sessions, let us first listen to the activity report from the chair of the committee. We kindly invite Mr. Aulia Khalkila to deliver the report. And the stage is yours, Mr. Aulia Khalkila.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Aulia Khalkila. On behalf of the committee, I would like to deliver our huge gratitude to all of participants who joined the webinar this morning, and also our critics to all the centers from Indonesia and from international speakers. We are having Nak Dilawat. Good morning, Nak Dilawat from the DRMIS Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. And also we are having Professor Muksil, and also Bapak Dian Uza, and also the latest speakers is Associate Professor Anawa Suprasi from University of University, Japan. So today we will get insight from the experts based on the latest situation that we know from the 7.7 earthquake in Mandalay-Myanmar on March 28, 2025. So we want to get the insight from the latest information from that situations. As the informations, all participants, about more than 100 has registered to this webinar. I hope all of you can join, can learn more about the latest earthquake in Myanmar and what we can learn from that. And we will hear from the expertise that I already mentioned before, and hope you all enjoy the presentation and the webinar. That's it for me. I give back to the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Aulia. Now, following with that, we will hear the opening remarks from our director from the TDMRC, Professor Syamsidik. So, Prof, the screen is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his gracious mercy to all of us that enable us to gather in this webinar in this morning. And also praise to Muhammad Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for his lessons. Speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, on behalf of colleagues from TDMRC of Syah Kuala, I would like to convey my gratitude to all the speakers who are willing to share the expertise on the latest or update information on the lesson learned on the recent quake in Mandalay in Myanmar. I believe that most of us are following the situation in the affected area. We are also would like to convey our sympathy and empathy to the community that affected by the disasters. We believe that your resilience will help you to gather and to recover from the disaster. TDMRC of Universitas Syah Kuala is located in Banda Aceh, once being severely affected by the 2004 Aceh tsunami. It was more than 20 years ago. But along these 2 decades, we have also a number of deadliest earthquakes that also affected our area. One of the latest that we observed is the 2016 PD Jaya earthquake that also caused more than 100 people died in the area. Not to mention some thousand buildings and houses being collapsed due to the impacts of the earthquake. In the last 5 years, TDMRC also have been observing the trends of the buildings development in the city, especially in Banda Aceh. We also noticed that about 35% of the increase of the number of the building here in Banda Aceh since the last 5 years. We are also worried about the quality of the buildings that could also jeopardize once earthquake occur around this area. That's why earthquake is still the most anticipated disasters in our region. Therefore, the March 28 Mandalay earthquake is a very important lesson learned for all of us. We would like to learn and also to listen to all the speakers here who are willing to share their findings or their tentative findings on the earthquake. Therefore, thank you very much for your willingness to share your time, your precious time. I believe that our colleagues in Chulalongkorn and in Myanmar are very busy to identify the affected area and to help the government and to help the community around the area. So therefore, your willingness to be part of this webinar is very grateful, and we are thankful to that. Just before I end my remarks, I would like to again thanks to Dr. Nat Lilawat, especially for being able to be part of this webinar from the Ramais Chulalongkorn University. Second, from Irides Toko University Associate Professor Anawar Supasri, and Professor Muksin from TDMRC of Universitas Syah Kuala, and also Adrian Uza from TDMRC of Universitas Syah Kuala. Thank you very much for your willingness and to be part of this conference, for this webinar. And also thank to all the organizing committee who are preparing to conduct this webinar. This webinar is the 34th seminar series that we have. Normally in a year we have between 4 to 5 seminar series. So this is the first one in 2025. We look forward also to welcome you in the next webinar or in the next seminar series. Therefore, officially, I would like to open this webinar by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. So I return this forum to the moderator, Dr. Yunita Idris. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Samsidi, for the welcoming remarks. Now we come to the main agenda for today. We will have the talk from our distinguished speakers now. And today's seminar comprises 4 keynote presentations, and each with a 30-minute duration, delivered by distinguished experts from Thailand, Japan, and Indonesia. Now, the presentation session will be followed by a question and answer after that. Now, we will begin with the first speaker, our honored speaker, Associate Professor Nat Lilawat. Maybe the CVs can be like, okay. So, Professor Nat Lilawat, Assistant Dean for International Affairs in Faculty of the Engineering from Chulalongkorn University. He also head of the disaster risk management information system from the research unit in Chulalongkorn University. Now he have contributed for many research related to disaster and risk management and ICT for disaster risk reduction and also system analysis and design, as well as disaster education. Now, without further ado, I will call Prof. Nat for the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Selamat pagi, Sawadee krap, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nat Lilawat. So first of all, I would like to share the screen to all of you. I would like to tell you that the work I'm going to share to you today is not conducted by only me, but of course with my colleagues. Yeah, we have the research team from many universities. We have Mr. Ampon from Institute of Science Tokyo in Japan. We have Ms. Gotchakon from Mahidol University in Thailand. We have Professor Anawat from Ilides Tokyo University. Yeah, he's also one of the speakers today as well. We have Ms. Lashani Gon from the Asian Institute of Technology. We have Professor Wong Sa from IMUTT Thailand. We have Professor Chatpan from Chulalongkorn University and also Professor Nalite from Ilides Tokyo University. Okay, for me, yeah, it's my pleasure to be a part of the event today that we can share something about what we find in Thailand, especially in Bangkok. Yeah, so I plan to talk about the critical public response and the urban lessons drawn from the 2025 Mandalay earthquake with the insights informed by Thailand's experience. Okay, for the talk that I'm going to tell you today is just a summary of all the details, and we already have our full detail share as a preprint. The name of this article is Initial Observation and Immediate Lessons Learned from Thailand Response to the 2025 Mandalay Earthquakes. Yeah, right now it's still under review. But yeah, we would like to share some insight to all of you first, yeah, because I think it will be benefit to the researcher and practitioners around the world that they can understand what really happened in Bangkok on that day. So yeah, please feel free to check it out from this QR code. And yeah, I'm going to start my talk by taking some part of that preprint to share to you. My talk will start with the background and then go with the public response in Thailand, the disruption that occur mainly in the infrastructure and the systems in Thailand, and the challenges that we have to do in the coordination. And then at the end, I will talk about the future direction and the summary on what we can do and what it can contribute to not only Thailand, but other countries as well. Okay, so let's start with the background. On March 28, yeah, a magnitude of 7.7 earthquake struck central Myanmar with tremor across the region, including Thailand. Despite its distance from the epicenter, Thailand faced significant structural damage and disruption, exposing some weakness in urban resilience and disaster preparedness in the country. Today, I will set my objective of this talk to share with you through our exploration of the public behavior, the emergency response, and policy implication to strengthen the future preparedness of not only Thailand, but yeah, for other countries as well. Okay, so let's begin. The event classified as a magnitude 7.7, right? And it's occurred not in Thailand, it's occurred in Myanmar, and it's approximately 326 kilometers northwest of Mae Hong Son province, one of the northern parts of Thailand. Bangkok is located in the central area of Thailand. As the capital city too, Bangkok's vulnerability became apparent due to long period ground motion, resulting in structural collapse, facilities, and evacuation challenges. The soft soil conditions amplify the shaking. It stressed the urban infrastructures, This earthquake highlights Thailand's exposure to seismic risks originating beyond its border. Of course, Myanmar suffered devastating impacts with high casualties and damage rates. Comparatively, Thailand recorded lower physical damage, but we witnessed cascading systematic disruptions that occur. Okay, so when we talk about the first 72 hours immediately aftermath of the earthquakes, I would like to talk about these three issues. First of all, the public response to the earthquakes was shaped by initial panic and inadequate preparedness. Bangkok residents and visitors demonstrated a wide range of reaction on that day, influenced by misinformation and fragmented communication. Evacuation challenges reveal the critical gaps in public awareness and the building protocols. Especially the high-rise building protocols. Many high-rise evacuation were chaotic due to the blocked exit, the very crowded stairwells, and non-operational elevators. Tragically, these challenges result in injuries and fatalities. In terms of the communication networks in Thailand, the country experienced unprecedented demand, especially for voice calls. You can imagine that normally people mainly in Bangkok, right? We use a lot of the data, not that much for the voice calls. Since the internet era, now we have 5Gs in the countries, but on that days, based on the statistical data from the mobile phone operators, the voice call became the main of the utilities that people use. Such a situation reveals that phone calls became the primary communications tools for verifying the safety and exchanging the information between individuals. Both major mobile operators in Thailand at that time recorded the historic highs in call volumes. As I told you, it should be high in the past when we did not use 4G or 5Gs because people tend to move to use the data instead of the calls, telephone callings. But at that time, it became very high for the call volumes. While the intra-network calls lost by 65%. After the quakes, the cross-network calls surged by 121% on that day. It reflects people's urgent needs to connect with anyone involved, regardless of their network providers. The social media platform like Line, which is one of the most popular social media platform in Thailand, as well as X or formerly Twitter, serve dual roles on that day. Not only helping disseminate the information, but also amplifying unverified rumors and some news. Okay, now let's turn our focus to Bangkok. A city under immense pressure during and after the quake. The structural collapse, such as if you check the news, you may know that we have the 30-story construction site that collapsed on that day, created the intermediate crisis. And it required a coordinated urban search and rescue operations immediately. In terms of public healthcare system on that day, the hospital struggles to maintain patient safety. They have to evacuate amid fears of the building instability. The public transportation disruption also one of the major problems at that time. You may know that Bangkok is a bit famous for the traffic jam, but on that day is a huge major traffic jam. And also it's make the evacuation difficulties as well. Okay, there are the electric train services in Bangkok, the SkyTrain we call BTS, and we also have the metro that consists of both SkyTrain and the metro line or the subway called MRT. Both BTS and MRT were suspended immediately after the earthquake. And this sudden halt left countless commuters who rely on the trains, and they have to look for alternative way to go back home on that day. Some roads networks were also cut or closed, including the areas from Dindang and Chatuchak area. Chatuchak area is one of the transportation hub in Bangkok and also popular for the weekend market, or we call Chatuchak weekend market. From Dindang and Chatuchak area until the Lama 2 road, where a building collapse had occurred. Access to and from the Dindang Expressway was blocked. Debris from a nearby under construction buildings also fell onto the road, obstructing the traffic, and the road traffic situation delay most of them. As a result, that kind of situation lasts longer than 8 hours. Me, myself also, I spent driving back home almost 4 hours from the normal time, just like 1.5 hours. Okay, for another kind of the transportation, like the boat service, fortunately can offer the temporary relief, but it's not that efficient. As you know that in Bangkok, we have the Chao Phraya River and many canals. So yeah, the boat operation can commute the people go back home through that way, but because it cannot go to all the areas in the city, that's why it's not that sufficient. Then when they are coming back on that day, okay, the transportation infrastructure gradually resume operation on the next day, March 29, after the safety inspections. BTS SkyTrain for the green and yellow lines and now to resume within the same day, while the Metro MRT blue and purple lines restarted at 5 o'clock in the mornings of the next day, with the reduced number of the routes, followed by the SkyTrain, the late line, it's resume operation at 5:30 a.m. The airport rail link that connect the city to Suvarnabhumi Airport also resumed their operation at 5:30 for the airport connectivities. The yellow lines require extended inspection and following to be reopened at noon on another day. And the pink line still need more time for the operation and cannot resume within the first 72 hours. Let's talk about the other issues. Improvised shelters, including park and community centers, the lack of the adequate provisions to meet evacuee needs expose the planning gaps. I would like to say that on that day, due to a lot of effort from the Bangkok governors and his team, we can have the place for shelters in many areas. But I will just take some part of the limitation and gaps that we can learn about it for the future's upcoming disasters. Mainly it's about the safe zone designation and emergency supply distribution. Okay, you may know that Thailand is a tropical country, right? It's a hot country. The heat and environmental stress also amplify the evacuation challenges on that day. With the prolonged exposure to outdoor conditions, it leads to dehydration and of course potential heat stroke on that day. Okay, there were challenges in coordinations. As you can see on the screen, this one have been captured from the mobile phone. This is the SMS-based alerts. The delay SMS-based alerts added the public uncertainty during the critical moments after the quake. Although people receive it, but it's like hours after the quakes occur. Vulnerable groups, including the persons with disabilities and the older adults, also faced difficulties on that day with the evacuation support and accessibility that is not insufficient for them. This Mandalay earthquake highlight the needs for targeted public education campaign for disaster education as well. From this experience, we identify some critical policy gaps that we should check it out, like the lack of the public awareness and disaster education, the inadequate building evacuation protocols for evacuation, especially from the high-rise buildings, the fragmented emergencies communication system that delay the critical makings, the heat stress and environment outside that are the condition that can compound the health risks for the people as well. So some key recommendation for that part, we can think of the institutionalizing the regular evacuation drill in the countries, deploying some automated or behavioral actionable cell broadcast alert system that we'll talk more about it later. The designating the safe zone that equipped with some supplies and enhancing the multi-agencies coordination through the government agencies to oversee the drill and communication protocol. Okay, as for the lesson learned from the public behaviors, let's start with the limited awareness of the drop cover horn, a global recognized protocol that designed to minimize the injury during the earthquakes. And I believe that many of you know this protocol as well. When the tremor starts, the public response were inconsistency and often dangerous, and many individuals instinctively land outside during the shaking, unaware about this kind of action, increase their risk of injury from falling debris. Others remain frozen in the place, confused about what to do. Social media also added the chaos. So yeah, by having this kind of thing, the absence of the widespreading disaster education campaign in the country became the evidence. Unlike Japan, where the drop, cover, hold on, these kind of drills are embedded in the school curricula and public safety announcement, Thailand is still limited in terms of systematic efforts to instill this knowledge among citizens. The result was a lack of uniformity in behavioral response, with some individuals placing themselves in the harm's ways. Moving forward, so the country must prioritize a public education campaign to promote the safety evacuation behaviors. Okay, now let's examine the evacuation challenges faced by occupants of high-rise buildings. Yeah, because we have a lot of skyscrapers in Bangkok. The Mandalay earthquake reveals the severe gaps in preparedness for urban evacuation. We found overcrowded stairwells, malfunctioning fire doors, and non-operational elevators. This kind of thing created a hazardous condition for evacuees. Tragically, there were real cases in Bangkok of the injuries and fatalities during the rush of evacuating, including individuals who fell while navigating the congested stairwells. The building management teams, the emergency staff also struggles to coordinate evacuation efforts due to the lack of the pre-designated assembly point. Of course, there are a lot of assembly points of each buildings, but mainly the design was focused on the fires accidents. But this time it's an earthquake that everyone will evacuate at the same time. So it's a lot of people in each area. And yeah, some of the area, people have to stay on the road because it's not sufficient and enough assembly point area at that place. Many evacuees reported confusion about where to go once they are outside, so it's further complicating the response too. This challenge underscores the need to revise the high-rise evacuation protocol, the regular evacuation drills, the clear signage, and of course the assembly area designation. They are essential to improve coordination during the emergencies. Additionally, the building management teams must receive some training, not just general training, but specialized trainings to make it effective. Lastly, when we turn to the impact of the vulnerable population, including elderly people or disability people, during the earthquakes, individuals with mobility challenges face difficulties. Without the functioning elevators, they were almost unable to evacuate high-rise building promptly, immediately. The security personnel or the staff have to assist them where possible. Okay, for the temporary shelter established by Bangkok Metropolitan Administrations with the effort of our governors, yeah, it can help a lot of people. Yeah, but still some gap that we found. For example, the accessibility persistence. For example, some shelters still lack of the lamps or medical supplies, and it's limit the usability for the person who have some disabilities function. In addition, the extreme heat in the area during the evacuation period also pose the significant health risks for for senior peoples. And to mitigate this kind of risks, the future disaster preparedness plan must incorporate the target support for vulnerable groups as well. This includes the accessibility of the evacuation routes, the personal trainings, and some facility that prepare for them. Okay. For lessons learned about the shelter management, yeah, during the aftermath, many affected individuals sought refugees in improvised safe zones, such as the public parks, parking lots, the school grounds. These spaces were used out of necessity rather than strategic planning. While this area offer temporary safety, there's still a bit lack of the basic provisions critical to supporting evacuees during emergencies. We have the reports from some parks like Lumpini Parks or Benjakiti Parks in Bangkok highlight the absence of the water supply, the sanitation facilities, and medical supplies. Additionally, some zones were overcrowded, creating discomfort and raising some health concerns. In one instance, over 700 evacuees gathered without the guidance and resources at that place. Okay, so this ad hoc approach exposed significant gaps in disaster management. The lack of the pre-designated safe zone with adequate infrastructure is a key thing that we have to think about. A key takeaway is like the importance of integrating emergency resource station within the public area need to be ensured for the temporary shelters that can meet the essential needs effectively, efficiently, and immediately. Okay, and don't forget that the environment condition also, what we have to remember is on that day, the temperature is above 35 Celsius degree with high humidity levels. So thousands of evacuees face the prolonged exposure to the extreme heat. So many people lack access to the shade or hydration. So it's increased the risk of dehydration for them. Vulnerable groups such as the people that I mentioned were particularly affected. So yeah, the shelter need to be prepared some cooling measures or the shade areas for them. Okay, so this underscores the need of disaster planning to account for the local climatic condition as well. Yeah, not only Bangkok, because other area in Indonesia, in Malaysia, Singapore, and others, they are also the tropical regions, right? So we have to learn to require some heat resilient shelter designs, incorporating with some shade structure function, the water supply station, the heat mitigation in order to reduce the secondary health risks during the emergencies. Okay, so when we talk about the policy recommendation that we end up, the 2025 Mandalay earthquakes exposed some significant shortcomings in Thailand emergency communication systems, particularly the reliance on short message, SMS alert. Yeah, on that day, the problem that I mentioned is because of the technical issues. Because the country still use SMS alerts as the main warnings in the city area. Yeah, it's different story if we talk about the southern part or other part that have very high risk for tsunami. But in the city area, they rely on the SMS. And on that day, due to the technical issues, the batch of the SMS that they can send in one time is limited to like 100,000 to 200,000 per one batch. And after sending one batch, they have to wait for another like 15 minutes. That's why it's have to wait. Some people may receive in the first batch, but many people receive like at the later batch. Okay, so this alert, why it's informative, but by delaying by hours, the lack of the coverage consistencies, as a result, millions of individuals face confusion and uncertainty during critical moments. So one thing that we can think of, and actually is in the process of testing and preparing to launch this year in Thailand, is a cell broadcast system that can offer the solution to solve this issue. Unlike SMS that depend on the recipient phone numbers and limited in terms of capacity, the cell broadcast alert can instantly push the message to all mobile devices within the defined geographic area. So it can ensure that the critical the critical information can disseminated rapidly to the risk peoples in the area. Okay, so when we talk about deploying the cell broadcast system in Thailand, it's required a coordination effort a lot among the government agencies like the Department of the Disaster Prevention and Mitigation under the Ministry of Interior, as well as the National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Commission that will take care of the telecommunication regulation and the major telecoms operators. So after the earthquakes, we learned a lot, and right now the government try to speed up the launching of this cell broadcast, and hopefully we are going to have the cell broadcast alert soon in the country. Okay, and the earthquake also reveals some gap for the preparedness for high-rising buildings, particularly in Bangkok area. Many occupants face the life-threatening challenges, including malfunction of the fire doors, the overcrowded stairwells, and so on. So these are also the consideration that we have to take care of. Okay, the earthquakes reveal significant gaps in Bangkok's disaster preparedness strategy and emphasize some of the key reasons that we should be focused on. like the improved communication systems. Yeah, inadequate of the SMS-based alert that I mentioned highlight the importance of the faster and more reliable system. For example, cell broadcast technology or the other future technology that can deliver the message faster to the people who have risks. Secondly, the standardized for the highlights evacuation protocol is a must that we should have to reduce the chaotics due to the block stairwell, the malfunction of the fire door, and so on. We also need to support for the vulnerable populations, yeah, like the people I mentioned and the problem that they found. We also have to prepare some plan for the shelter management and concern about the environmental stress issue that can come as a secondary disaster for them. So these lessons serve as a reminders of the cascading impacts disaster that can have and demand the comprehensive and cross-sectoral approaches to preparedness. Beyond that kind of disaster response, this earthquake also provides some of the broader implications for Thailand's urban planning policy, like the call for revising some building codes, the call for integrated risk assessments, the call for enhancing infrastructure resilience, as well as the call for regional collaboration, and of course, integrated with the government's frameworks that we should work together. This insight from Thailand experience emphasize the importance of proactive planning that integrates resilience inclusively and sustainability across the urban development policies. In summary, Thailand's experience during the Mandalay earthquake underscore the importance of integrated urban resilience and public awareness strategies. By learning from this event and regional best practice, we can strengthen our national preparedness and mitigate the impacts of the future disaster. It's call to action for policymakers and stakeholders in order to enhance awareness campaigns and disaster education, the training program, specialized training program, and strengthen the urban resilience frameworks and encourage disaster preparedness at individuals, communities, business, government levels. Okay, again, I would like to tell you again that if you want to know more details about my talk, because we also include some physical damage data, the summaries of the timeline of what happened in the first 72 hours, you can check it out for all details in our preprints in this QR code, the initial observation and immediate lessons learned from Thailand's response to the 2025 Mandalay earthquakes. Also, we would like to thank the agencies and institutes who support us, like the Thailand Science Research Innovation Fund of Chulalongkorn University, the Earthquake Research Centers of Thailand under the support from the National Research Council of Thailand, as well as our partners who work immediately after the earthquake together from San Tokyo, from Irides Tokyo University, from Mahidol University, from Asian Institute of Technology, and IMUTT. Okay, this is all for me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Natlilawat, for insightful presentation related to the public response to an urban lesson from Thailand's response to the Mandalay earthquake. Before we call for our next speakers, I would like to summarize very briefly for your presentation in Bahasa for our colleagues in Indonesia. Jadi selamat pagi Bapak Ibu, kita sudah mendengarkan presentasi dari Prof. Natlilawat terkait dengan public response ya, dan juga keadaan sehingga bisa diambil pembelajaran dari distant earthquake atau gempa jauh dari Mandalay earthquake ke lokasi Bangkok. Nah, Prof. Natlilawat menggambarkan betapa chaosnya situasi di Bangkok terkait terutama di Chatuchak area di mana ada bangunan yang runtuh dan kondisi Bangkok yang padat penduduk dan juga memang selalu terjadi traffic jam atau kemacetan. Pada saat pasca gempa terjadilah kemacetan yang sangat-sangat parah. Dari jarak tempuh 1,5 jam menjadi 4 jam seperti yang digambarkan. Kemudian beberapa public transport yang tutup, shutdown akibat dari gempa, kemudian juga kondisi penyampaian informasi yang terlambat sehingga komunikasi juga tidak lancar, dan juga keadaan bagaimana preparedness itu masih sangat terbatas bagaimana protokol ya, protokol terkait dengan evakuasi, terutama evakuasi di bangunan-bangunan high rise structure atau bangunan-bangunan tinggi, kemudian manajemen penyediaan shelter dan lain sebagainya, sehingga pembelajaran dari situ perlu peningkatannya kesiapsiagaan atau preparedness dan juga kemudian masalah assessment ya, assessment pasca bencana ini juga sangat penting. Nah, ini akan menjadi bahan kajian kita juga pada hari ini. Jadi saya akan memanggil pembicara kita kedua. Nah, baik, our second speaker is Professor Muksin Umar, a professor in Department of Physics at Syah Kuala University and head of the Geological Hazard Division at TDMRC. He completed his PhD at Universitat Potsdam, Germany, and his research focused on crustal structure modeling, seismic imaging of Sumatran fault zone, especially, and seismic tomography techniques. Professor Muksin works has significantly advanced our understanding of active fault structures in earthquake-prone regions of Indonesia. Now, we welcome Prof. Muksin for deliver the speaking. Thank you.
Okay, should I present in Bahasa or in English? Because Bu Yunita already summarized the presentation in Bahasa. So, can you hear me?
English, you can deliver this first.
Okay. In today's talk, I would like to present the tectonic cause and the tectonic impacts of the 7.7 magnitude 2025 Myanmar earthquake. I would like to acknowledge that my today presentation was based on the work from several people as well. The maps and the figures were prepared by Nadia and Mariam, and the earthquake reanalysis was performed by Wahyu, and we analyzed the preliminary earthquake data obtained from USGS, and I mostly refer to Morley, Wang et al., and Meng 2022 for the tectonic interpretation, and I'm only presenting their work actually. So it's not based on my work, but several people working on this. Okay. For global seismologies, the earthquake in Mandalay, called the 7.7 magnitude of 2025 event, as Mandalay earthquake. Although the earthquake is located along the Sagaing Fault, as you can see that the impact of the earthquake is defined by the location, and the energy seems to radiate along the fault. And maybe we need to understand that the location is defined as a plane instead of a point. That's why you can see that the intensity of the earthquake are mostly higher along the fault. And the magnitude of an earthquake represents the length and the width of the fault and the length of the slip. And I think Mandalay is located somewhere here. Yeah, and the earthquake is quite close to Mandalay. And unfortunately, I could not find any building data from the region, or also from the Google Earth data. and even from Google Map. I'm not sure why. So we have tried to revise the earthquake parameters based on waveform inversion. And you can see that although the depth of the earthquake was reported at 10 kilometers, but after we reanalyze carefully, that then we found out that the depth of the earthquake is around 26 kilometers. 10-kilometer depth of earthquake is quite perfect. So I always say, let's try to revise the earthquake parameters. Then we got this depth of 26 kilometers. And the focal mechanism is right lateral side slip, which is similar or identical to the characteristics of the Sagaing fault. And now I would like to introduce the tectonic of the region. You can see from the that there is Indian plate move to the north. Let me show you the pointer. Yeah. So this is Indian plate move to the north and collide with the Eurasian plate. And the collision between this Indian plate and the Eurasian plate caused the rising of Himalaya mountain and the rising of Tibetan plateau. On the eastern part of the Indian plate, there is also a conversion between Indian plate and Burma plate. And that caused also like a collision, but there is a shallow subduction beneath the Burma plate. So there is a subduction, but very shallow because of the oblique movement of the Indian plate relative to Burma plate, very shallow. And that caused some magma rising to the surface. And because of the oblique movement of the Indian plate, that then caused the descent of the Sagaing fault. So the Sagaing fault is somewhere here. As also shown by this figure, the Sagaing fault is right lateral fault system. And I would like to summarize the tectonic of Tibetan Plateau, that Myanmar is characterized by the convergence between the Indian and Eurasian plate, as well as the Burma plate. This is Burma plate. And the presence of the Sagaing fault is somewhere here, is to accommodate the oblique Indian plate motion relative to Burma plate. And the 1,200 kilometer long Indo-Burma conversion and the Sagaing fault produce large number of seismicity. Just last night, I tried to image the structure beneath this region. You can see that along the A profile, there is a collision between Indian and Eurasian plate here, but you can see there is no subduction. It's like only two plates collide each other. And that's why there is no volcano along the Himalayan mountain. There is mountain, but there is no volcano. And along the B profile, there is shallow subduction here, caused by interaction between the Indian plate and the Burma plate. And it is very different from Sumatra, for example. In Sumatra, you can see the subduction beneath Aceh and beneath Central Sumatra. That's caused the presence of the megathrust earthquake in 2004 and 2005 Sumatra earthquake. And they are very different, but we can see also from the structure that the Myanmar earthquake, Myanmar tectonic is related to the Sumatra tectonic. And this relation is also shown by the seismicity. We can see that there are two types of earthquake in the region. The first one is the thrust faulting along the Indian-Burma convergence. The second type is the right lateral faulting along the Sagaing Fault. So if you see this type of beach ball that represent the strike slip earthquake, but this type of beach ball represent the reverse deep slip faulting. And you can see that along the Sagaing Fault, there are a lot of right lateral earthquake, but there should be some thrust faulting along the Indian-Burma convergence. There are some thrust faulting along the Burma and Indian-Burma convergence. And you can see that there is also some relation between the Sagaing Fault earthquake with the Sumatra earthquake somehow. Yeah. And this is also represented by the distribution of the earthquake. So this one is quite deep. The earthquakes along the Indian-Burma convergence quite deep, and it creates like a 45-degree deep focal mechanism along the Indian-Burma convergence, but a very shallow earthquake along the Sagaing Fault. That's why this Sagaing Fault earthquake can cause a large number of victims because the earthquake is quite shallow. So if we take this AA prime profile, you can see that this is the earthquake represented by, caused by the Indian-Burma convergence. And also these earthquakes are along the Sagaing Fault. But you can see also there is a gap between Sumatra and the Myanmar seismicity, but maybe this is caused by the lack of seismometers because we could not deploy or could not install instrument in this region. So that's why smaller magnitude of earthquake could not be detected by far away seismometers. But you can see that somehow the Indian-Burma convergence is related with the subduction zone earthquake, and the Sagaing Fault is connected to Selimut Fault and the Sumatran subduction earthquake, not Sumatra Fault earthquake. And also this map show the seismicity propagation. I can say seismicity propagation, meaning that the seismic energy propagate all over the world. Maybe there is a relation between the Mandalay earthquake with the Sumatra seismicity. For example, we can see that the 25th of March earthquake in Myanmar along Sagaing Fault, followed by the second one, and then there was an earthquake in Banda Aceh on 30th of April with magnitude of 5.4 along the Selimut Fault. And then a few days after that, there is an earthquake in close to Semeru with magnitude of 5.8. And then this can be related to other activities all over the world. So that's all of my presentation. I would like to conclude my presentation that the Mandalay earthquake was caused by the right lateral sagging fault, and large earthquake can occur not only along the sagging fault, but also along the Indo-Burma convergence. The earthquake is very shallow, with a depth of 26 kilometers and along the fault close to the population. And the sagging fault is related with the Sumatra fault, while the Indo-Burma convergence is related with the Sumatra subduction zone. That's why we can see that the occurrence of the earthquake is quite close each other. And the Silimum earthquake could be related with the 7.7 magnitude of 2025 Myanmar earthquake. And of course, all the earthquake around the world is related to each other. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Muksin, for the discussion related to the seismicity and about any discussion related to the earthquake in Myanmar, which is happened in due to the the activity in the Sagaing fault, right? Maybe I would like to brief summarize the discussion in bahasa. Jadi dari pembicara kedua kita, Profesor Muksin, kita mendapatkan sedikit gambaran tentang seperti apa teori ya patahan dan gempa di seismicity di Myanmar, di mana di situ ada dua tipe gempa seismik, ada dari thrust faulting di sepanjang Indian Burma, kemudian right lateral faulting di Sagaing Fault ya, patahan Sagaing. Nah, gempa di Sagaing pada 28 Maret itu juga berkaitan ada hubungannya mungkin dengan gempa yang bisa terjadi yang terjadi kemudian hari di Selimum ya, di Banda Aceh. Nah, jadi itu inti dari yang dapat kami simpulkan. Nanti lebih detailnya kita akan bertanya dengan Prof. Muksin ya, setelah sesi keempat nanti ya. Baik, now I would like to invite our third speaker, Mr. Adrian Ulza, a lecturer in Department of Civil Engineering Syekh Kuala University and a research member in the Disaster Resilient Infrastructure Division at TDMRC. He earned his master's degrees in structural engineering from the Nasional Taiwan University of Science and Technology, and his research interests including building information modeling, BIM, finite element, and structural vulnerability assessment. He is also engaged in developing machine learning application for risk evaluation in built environments. Now, without further ado, I would like to call Mr. Adrian to give a lecture.
Okay, thank you for Bu Yunita Idris for the introduction. Allow me to share the screen. Okay. So wait a moment. Okay, good morning and afternoon for everyone. It's an honor to be here today. My name is Adrian Uza and I'm a lecturer in civil engineering at Universitas Syekh Kuala. I'm also conduct research at TDMRC, USK, and focusing on disaster resilient infrastructure. First of all, I would like to express my deepest condolence to the victims of the 2025 Myanmar earthquake and all the surrounding region affected. This tragedy, like the tragic event, has resulted in tremendous loss of life and significant economic damage. So today, I would like to commence my presentation by addressing one of the fundamental questions. Why do buildings fail during earthquakes? And more importantly, why should they not? So we have seen numerous catastrophic failures around the world. The collapse of buildings during seismic event results in loss of life and damage to property and long-term economic impacts. So these failures actually are often preventable, but they still far too often. So on March 28, 2005, devastating earthquake of magnitude 7.7 struck Mandalay earthquake and caused widespread destruction. This earthquake is really considered as a large seismic event, and such magnitude caused severe shaking and widespread damage. More than 120 homes were damaged or destroyed, and displacing thousands of families and leaving many without shelters. And the Economic Times highlight really provocative titles that referring to the Myanmar earthquake, like the nation unprepared for disaster. But actually, this is a journalistic provocative message, but this is one to highlight that the important us as the society and the nation to prepare ourselves for the next biggest event, as we cannot like prevent the such earthquake. So as we reflect on the tragedy in Myanmar, it also raises a question how we can prevent such extensive damage in future seismic events, and bring us to the critical importance of building codes, preparedness, and better engineering practice. And this is one of the not the video is not shown. Okay. Wait. Okay, wait. Maybe I'll try to switch my presentation. Okay, so this is the footage of the collapse of the under construction office of the Auditor General of Thailand has gone viral on social media, and sparking serious concern about the structural hefty and also high-crash building during earthquakes. But I'm sure that many of you, some is the structural engineer, will notice and really considering why is it that such a magnificent building is collapsing, even though the site is really far away from the earthquake source. But today's presentation, I will not to dare to touch about that sensitive issue, because one of the issues is that I don't have the enough data to conclude this evidence, and also there are far more competent people, especially in Taiwan, who are really expert and knows the situation there and have the authority to conduct the evaluation. So this is also another footage of the skyscraper Paris building that will not destroy or collapse, but the bridge that connected the connection between those is having a damage and being thrown down and making a separation between those. And we can see that the building is sway violently, and another one is also suffering the sway, but actually it can really have a ductile manner, that whether it can like sustain such a quake. And we also want to highlight that there are abundant like left building think the connection is disrupted at the moment. So let me clarify that there are abandoned building that is uninhabitable, like it's left there and still standing, tall through the shaking. So that's mean there are a lot of building actually survive, but only one that is collapsing in Bangkok. So this is also the footage that see from the dashboard of the car, and we see that the building is collapsing. But let's not being distracted that because what you see actually a bridge that have a traffic jam there and really sustain the damage and undamaged, I mean. So I tried to extract from the USGS event map. So it's shown that this is the intensity that being spread away, like the intensity in MMI, and it's concentrated along of the Sagaing Fault. And we have seen that the white dots is represent the earthquake magnitudes and location of the source, while it's concentrated in maybe in Myanmar region, but actually in Bangkok they are still not apparent in this image. And I'm also want to highlight that actually the location is really far away, like more than 100 kilometer. For an insight, it's like Jakarta to Surabaya is 780 kilometer, and also Banda Aceh to Padang is 1,200 kilometers. So it's really far away. But one of the question is, why is that the building in Bangkok is suffering, like having a sway motion like that? What? Huh? Still? Okay. Okay. So as you can see that it's really far away, and we want to know whether why is that the Bangkok is having a sway. Most of the building is sway like that for the skyscraper and high-rise building. So that's the question that we want to know, and I tried to extract from the stop motion data, and we can see that actually they employ the station GHTO and also KMUA. That's really far away from the earthquake source, but we can notice that the waveform is targeted like 0.012 G. Like it's really, actually is really low. But when we see the station that near the Bangkok city, the PG is being higher. So one of the question is why happening like that? So one of the most popular concepts that sometimes the earthquake wave will travel around, and when hit the more soft clay condition, it will amplify. And I want also to like to compare that the Mandalay earthquake motion that near Bangkok, and also with the major earthquake like 2011 Tahun earthquake. It's really not comparable. I mean the PGA is really different. Like the Tahun earthquake having 2.7 G, also the Turkey in Syria is 1.32 G, while near the Bangkok, the earthquake station is really small way. So as a structural engineer, we want to know what happened to the region, why such phenomenon is happening. So we can start doing a simple simulation. I try to conduct a simple simulation that really the fundamental in earthquake engineering. So these three buildings having a 3-story, 10-story, now so 30-story, I mean, having a given artificial excitation like sinusoidal wave, like 10 hertz, but it's not appeared of the simulation that it's having a sway like that. But when we try to switch like more relaxing sinusoidal wave like 5 hertz, it becomes more apparent that the shaking intense at those three buildings. And when we try to amplify to like reduce it down more relaxed like 3 hertz, we see that the lowest story like the three-story building is hit the natural frequency. That's why it's became like swaying really fast. And more surprisingly, that if we relax more the intensity of the vibration, actually the most suffering is the 10-story building, because it's hit the natural frequency. And when we really do and apply really slow motion like 0.25 hertz, actually the one that sway is the 30-story. So that is the concept, is natural frequency. And as engineer, we most of the time we simplify the computation, because we want to at the time we want to simplify it, so to reduce our computation time and also our resource to conduct. Like we having a real building and we simulate it as 1 degree of freedom structure like that, which consists of mass and stiffness. This is most of the practice that we implement into our design. So having this 1 degree of freedom, we apply the ground motion and we simulate the simulation and obtain the acceleration for each period that given of our interest, like that. And so, and next, when we complete all of the acceleration of each period, we can construct the response spectrum that really have an insight of how the building will behave during an earthquake motion. So this is the earthquake spectra that response spectra that developed from numerous earthquake, and sometimes we make it more smoother like this, and we can see that correlated the response spectra with the buildings, and we found that actually the building that have suffered the most is like 1 to 3 story building, because it hit the peak of the spectral acceleration, while the building like having more story will have a less seismic acceleration. But that's not the only way. Of course, there's more than that, but I want to amplify that actually the more the building is higher, so because the period and the frequency is like the frequency is less and the period is long, so it's more sensitive to the like really slow motion rather than a strong motion. And as structural thing, and this is not for fun or science, but to ensure the building stands strong when it matters most. So we try to push the limits of the building, the structural components, or maybe the buildings, and see the behavior and try to accommodate that in our design. And there are more that journal papers that incorporated into the design, and we make it as the reflect that in the building codes, which are really thick book and what engineers need to follow. And I show you that some of it, like the SNI, Standard Nasional Indonesia, like Indonesian building codes, is actually adapted from the US code. This one is for the seismic event and also for the RC design. So this building codes is to ensure that the buildings is having a reliance and also reliable behavior during the earthquakes and maybe the loadings. And this is what we expect the building performance for you, all of you that from the engineer, you know that this is the famous chart, from the earthquake building performance design concept. So during like the service level, like the return period really low, like 43 years, we expect that the building is inoperational. And when it actually hit the maximum MCR earthquake level, like the return period of 2,500 years, we expect it can be damaged by like a temporary facilities, housing, maybe apartments. So in this rare occurrence of earthquake, it will in collapse prevention, like in almost near collapse, but it's not collapsing, so it's not harm the human lives. It's like that. But for the critical facility like hospital, school, energy, waterways, and telecommunication facilities and other critical facilities, we expect it won't in the near collapse, because we want it to serve to the community that really have like needs the healthcare procedure and also the healthcare needs like that. So we expect that those critical building is not in critical damage and still in operation. So if seismic design is so true, like it's really complex, right? What I've shown you. Why do the structures still fail, and why do building collapse continue to occur during earthquakes? So it's like every major earthquake, there are buildings that collapse, damage like that. So it's really hard to complement that, but I want to show you that the coordination workflow that really happening when we want to start a building. Like when the building owner want to start a construct a building, he will like consult with the construction management, who will guide him through the process of the construction. Like in the pre-construction space, the construction manager actually will try to consult with the design consultant. That is when the structure engineer, geotechnical engineer, and also the lead architects involving. So the team will design the buildings really strict to the codes, maybe the needs, and also to meet the needs of the building owner. And after the design is finished, actually they not deliver the drawings explicitly to the construction management, but they also need to meet the building permit authority. So they need to surpass that before the construction drawing is delivered. And once it's already obtained, so the construction management can guide the building owner to do the tender process and to choose the best contractor. And during this construction phase, the contractor should be under supervision, so it won't. So the construction part will be referring to the design drawing, and that have been really examined, also done tediously like that. So it to ensure that the building is satisfied to the building owner needs and also the society, and also it can sustain the damage during the extreme loading like the earthquake or wind event. And so this is some of the key aspect in the building failure. So most importantly, some key aspect is because the design and detailing error, like the poor ductile detailing. This is engineer terms for the mentioning that the reinforcement of concrete is not according to the code being built like that. And also one of the important things when it delivered to the construction site is the deviation from the design drawing, because it's really complex there, and the constraint actually when in construction is always like the time and budget. So we cannot win both of them. When we try to compensate the time, we also need to spend the budget. When we try to minimize the cost, actually we need to longer the time. It's really mess up there, and so that's why it's really need a good inspection from the supervisor and construction management teams to minimum this deviation. So one of the like the even though not engineer person will actually suspecting that maybe the contractor and supervisor is under collision like that, and allowing construction deficiency to go unchecked like that. But that is one of the issues also. So we also have the aging and maintenance because of the material degradation due to the lack of seismic retrofitting and also pre-existing structural damage left unaddressed. Because when we left the building is not met to the code, like because the code is updated to update to the latest, and we need to do the retrofitting and giving more money to do the structural retrofitting. And one the unluckiest part is when the earthquake that happening is actually is beyond that we expect from the code given. So I was highlight that actually the skyscraper it's really represent the human ingenuity. Like it's designed by the experts, and also it's constructed with the expert with precision, and it's really built to endure with the maximum or maybe the strongest expectation of the loadings that maybe will happen, like the earthquake, maybe the storm. Like that. So the engineer will follow the strict course, is undergo detailed analysis, and make so it's to ensure that it's made to survive even the fiercest earthquake. But while the tile structure are built to survive, sometimes we forgot that. What about the ones where most people actually live? So this is the one that we almost forget. Like when earthquake strike, it's actually not the high rise, the skyscraper, but the house that are most vulnerable, because this house is actually is non-engineered structures and happen to be really vulnerable during the earthquake. Like maybe this is one of the questions that we need to reflect to ourselves when we want to build our house. Yeah, maybe millennials and Gen Z cannot afford that right now, but during the process, actually, we want to save our money, right? So we doesn't want to buy like maybe to spend a more reinforcement, more concrete grade, because we want to save that money to buy more fascinating things like the interior or the furniture like that. So actually, we assume that maybe this is also a buildings that really low story and will not be suffer any damage like that. So that's misconception is actually not true, because when the earthquake strikes, actually the past event, the history shows that the most suffer is actually the buildings, house, and then we consider that as a tragedy rather than a reflection, make a stronger community and resilience community. So we actually, by underestimate the risk, means actually we also underestimate the value of human life, like our homes and also our family, and maybe the prosperity, the property that we are strive along our life, and it's being lost like that because we are not spending the money because we during the construction. So this may be the highlight that I want to address. So let's not forget that the houses actually need to also to survive in earthquakes. So let's try to consult to the architects who knows the structural engineer or maybe civil engineer to ensure that the buildings that are built is safer during the. So that is completing my presentation. So I'm giving back to the moderator, Mr. Idris.
Thank you, Mr. Adrian, for giving the insightful discussion related to the why buildings could fall during the earthquake and why they should not. And now I would like to brief summarize in bahasa. Jadi dari diskusi dari presentasi yang diberikan oleh Mr. Adrian terkait dengan potensi bangunan runtuh pada saat gempa bumi itu bisa terkait dengan desain, kualitas pekerjaan, inspeksi dan maintenance umur bangunan, dan juga underestimate terhadap seismic force, beban gempa, dan juga kondisi lahan. Nah, kemudian juga beliau membahas tentang keterkaitan antara natural frequency, keadaan sekitar sumber gempa, dan juga dengan jumlah lantai bangunan, dan juga bagaimana kita bisa mempertahankan bangunan-bangunan tinggi tetapi lupa bahwa bangunan yang dipakai oleh masyarakat kita adalah bangunan-bangunan rendah yang kemungkinan memiliki potensi keruntuhan atau memiliki kerentanan terhadap gempa. Nah, mungkin di kemudian hari kesiapsiagaan sekali lagi itu penting, juga terkait dengan persiapan kita terkait bangunan yang kita miliki dan berada di daerah yang berpotensi gempa tinggi. Sekarang, now I would like to invite our final speaker, our honorable speaker, Associate Professor Anawat Supasri, Professor Anawat is Associate Professor at International Research Institute of Disaster Science, IRIDES, Tohoku University, Japan. Prof. Supasri hold a PhD in tsunami engineering from Tohoku University, and Professor Supasri is widely recognized for his work in tsunami numerical modeling, post-disaster damage surveys, and tsunami risk evaluation across the Asia-Pacific region. He is also actively involved in disaster education and public awareness effort. Now, without further ado, the screen is yours, Professor.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Junita, for your introduction. And yeah, as you mentioned, my background is tsunami engineering, but as a Thai expert in Japan and on this disaster. So today I would like to give some introduction about what had happened in Thailand. I think some part might be similar to what Professor Nat has already mentioned, but I will speak a little bit more on engineering perspective, as well as what my institution or in Japan, how Japan can contribute to Thailand or other countries in Asia. Let me share my screen. And yes. And actually in IRIDES, we also had similar online seminar just a few days ago. So please allow me to use same slide, which in the bilingual in Japanese and in English. So, and actually after the earthquake 2 weeks ago, not only myself, but other IRIDES colleagues, including our director, also went to Bangkok for a week to do this visits and survey. So Thailand is from the border to Myanmar. If we talk about the northern part of Thailand, it's about 500 kilometers to the border. But for Bangkok, which is the capital, it's about 1,000 kilometers, which is quite far. But because of some of you might have already know, but in Japan, in Thailand, the Bangkok is considered as a very soft soil location. It's like a bowl, like Mexico City and other well-known city. And as you might know, that very soft soil here in Bangkok can amplify the long waves frequency earthquake waves from distant earthquake epicenter. So even that's why even 1,000 kilometers away, and actually the pioneer, like 30 years ago, pioneer earthquake research professors or earthquake engineering professors, structural engineers in Thailand, we know, we are aware of this thing, but it is quite difficult to implement this kind of thing. And for this one, in Japan, in Bangkok, sorry, we use different scale to Japan. We use MMI, and if you see, this is a record intensity in Bangkok, and this is like 4 point something. So if we convert to Japanese scale, it's also around 4. So for Japanese people, this number is not that big, but for Thai people, which very large ground shaking is quite big, and many people was in panic. This video, maybe you have seen in the news already. This is the only one building in Thailand that collapsed by the earthquake, but actually there are so many problems behind this, but I don't want to touch this for this time. It's still under inspection. But yeah, but this break the new world record that even 30 stories building 1,000 kilometers far away from the epicenters can be collapsed like this. And this is just to show you some other situation of when the swimming water from swimming pool sway, and after earthquake many train stops. So that makes many panic people in Bangkok. Like this, you can see many people panic and trying to escape from the high-rise building, or even in the hospital. People try to carry out move out the patient. Because sorry, so this is just to summarize, like as I mentioned at the beginning, for the long period, waves can increase or can be amplified in soft soil, and for high-rise building, the natural frequency of the high-rise building is similar to the long wave. So that's why the high-rise building can be easily to sway or move rather than the short building in Bangkok. And this is just to say, summarize what I have said, that there is no clear evacuation plan, or Thai people or even government, we didn't prepare for earthquake. So we don't have such emergency plan, and we don't have a plan for when people go back home. Imagine this situation. And what else? So at that night, we trying to help people by providing this kind of information that they can evaluate themselves, the structural damage. Oh, sorry. Let me. I have to stop for a while. And so we are going. So we are going to Thailand at that time to survey this kind of topics, which is related to earthquake early warning, building design, and emergency response, and international support. So we would like to see how we can help people in Thailand. So we went to several locations, like for example, international agency, the UNDRR, or Japanese embassy in Japan, Japanese embassy in Thailand, and we met also some faculty member who is Burmese, and also students. And we asked for that what the problem or things need for short term, medium term, and long term, which is, of course, for short term we need disaster relief good, but for long term we need, of course, education or some training program thing that support. And also we went to governmental agencies like the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or the agencies related to disaster prevention, and also the hospital that also received some emergency response and some damage. So one good example that I would like to present here, which is the things that have been made by the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration. They have this kind of the system to report the road damage, but they could adapt after one night to adapt this system to so that everyone can take a photo of their buildings and report online, and the expert can check the photos and reply and give some advice if the photo the damage condition based on the photo that the people post. So by doing this, people can feel safe very soon, right? No need to wait for expert to come and see the buildings. Of course, we are online, but at least they they can have some preliminary check, and the government can also be able to investigate the situation as soon as possible. They also release some information related to evacuation shelters and the information for the um, disability as well. We also went to several private agency companies, including this building is just a bank, but the highest building in 40 years ago in Thailand. And also this building, which is the second building, tallest building in Thailand. We asked them how they design something like that. So yeah, but what we learned that in actually like in Japan we have oil damper, we have best seismic isolation, but actually in Thailand we don't have such system. We mainly use the design criteria from the lift core or shear wall or the mat foundation. So but for the old building we put large safety factor. That's why the building can be survive, but we are still, but for the new building we put more like optical other design things to support the building. But for old building we are thinking about how to improve the structure as well. So in Thailand, not like in Japan, we don't have such early earthquake early warning system. So the first point that I would like to mention is that in people in Thailand, we seek for system like in Japan, and because as you know, it is about 1,000 kilometers from Myanmar to Bangkok, so people can have time for period warning. So if we have this kind of system, we still have some limitation of sending SMS. So we're trying to adapt a new system called cell broadcast system, like in Japan, so that they can send the alert. And if we have many sensors, we can making use of the distance that we can warn the people before the real shake happens. Second point is like in Japan, we have sensors for the structural health monitoring. Actually, 2014, after earthquake in 2014, which also damaged to some area in Thailand, we also install some SHM sensors. For example, in this building near in the province near the border of Myanmar. So we would like to add more this kind of sensor in other high-rise building in Bangkok, especially in important critical buildings like hospital or school, and also high-rise building like condominium. So having this kind of thing we can use for quantitative evaluation of the building after the earthquake. And for the building design code as well, this is some example of largely damaged building in Bangkok. This is just to show you the design design capacity curve for Thailand, against earthquake, the yellow one, and the real the observed one is in here. So you can see that actually for the low-rise building, like 20 or 30 stories building, is quite under the capacity, which should be fine. But for higher longer period or higher buildings, we can see that the design capacity and the real observed earthquake is more or less similar. So there are some idea of consideration of improving, adding this part. So still, this is under investigation. So just for your information, in Thailand, we have the law and acts for earthquake resistant building until since 2007, or we just starting about that in 1997, but it still takes time. And we just revised a new one in 2021, but still new for Thailand. So from now, it's a good chance to rethink about this kind of the building law. And also for the non-structural measure, we can think about how to make a plan to evacuation from the high-rise building. So, because like we have the drill for fire every year, but for evacuate to evacuate from high-rise building in case of earthquake, we don't have such experience in Thailand. But in Japan, like this, we have the guidebook. But in Japan, we have a guidebook like this one for Tokyo. So we can think also about how to after people trying to get back from home, from office to home, so that can be another things. And also, yeah, like this, they like people in Bangkok, they don't know how to act during earthquake. People still, and we don't have earthquake sensors, so that the elevator will stop, and then people can leave from the elevator to the outside. But at that time, the elevator still move as normal. So this is kind of thing that I believe that the system that has in Japan can also help people in Bangkok, in Thailand. And disaster education as well. Like you can see, this is like books for young kids in my area, Sendai Myanmar Prefecture. But again, in Thailand, we don't have such kind of information for the lower age. So this kind should be improved. And also for mental health issue as well. The image, the movies of the collapsed building makes very important, affect a lot of people feeling. Actually, the building was most of building in Bangkok was safe, but because of the video of the collapsed building, make people feel unsafe, or what if the building will be okay or not. So still many people they are now facing the trauma or some mental issue. So but Japan, we experience many kind of experience of here, so that we can also help people to relieve from this kind of mental issue. So for this, I would like to also thank you, the Earthquake Research Center of Thailand, that support, and also the National Assembly of Thailand that support our visit during this, and also other companies that helping us and spend time with us during the visit. Although today's the time is very short for me to speak, and also including the previous talk by Professor Nat, but you can also see this one. Our paper is only under review, but already we posted it online, so you can have a look in more detail about the disaster management part point of view. I'm happy to take some questions. So yeah, thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Anawat Supasri, for the insightful report and presentation related to the damage situation and rapid survey in Bangkok. I would like to briefly summarize in Bahasa as the previous speakers as well. So, jadi Profesor Anawat Supasri mempresentasikan tentang bagaimana situasi dan rapid survey yang mereka lakukan setelah gempa Myanmar pada 28 Maret. Bagaimana gempa ini mempengaruhi Bangkok, karena Bangkok memiliki kondisi tanah yang sangat lunak, sehingga mengamplifikasikan suatu respon frekuensi, very long frekuensi, di mana natural frekuensi untuk bangunan-bangunan tinggi ini itu mendekati nilai long period dari shaking yang tadi ya, shaking akibat gempa Mandalay. Nah, situasi di Bangkok ini mereka lakukan rapid survey dan kemudian mencoba mengatur beberapa respon dan kerjasama terkait dengan rapid survey ini untuk periode pendek, periode menengah dan jangka waktu panjang. Nah, untuk yang short term action itu mereka melakukan semacam bantuan emergency response, kemudian untuk menengah bagaimana ini bisa didiseminasikan secara akurat, kemudian untuk long termnya mungkin juga merencanakan training, karena dari hasil survei terkait dari kesiapsiagaan sama seperti yang sudah ditampilkan sebelumnya oleh Profesor Nat Lilawat bahwa adanya ketidaksiapan antara masyarakat terkait dengan gempa yang terjadi, tetapi ada sisi baiknya bahwa Bangkok administrasi metropolitan itu sudah memiliki online platform yang mengumpulkan respon dari masyarakat, laporan-laporan dari masyarakat terkait bangunan, dan ada banyak lagi materi yang menarik yang mungkin akan dapat kita dengarkan detail mungkin tadi, dan bisa kita mungkin ada pertanyaan-pertanyaan terkait presentasi beliau bisa kita lanjutkan pada sesi berikut. Now I would like to invite all of the participants for thank you to all of our speakers for their insightful presentation. Now we have we open the floor for the Q&A session for 30 minutes maybe. Yeah, 30 minutes. So please feel free to ask your question by a raise hand feature or in the chat box, and kindly state your name and affiliation before asking. Thank you. Ada. We can start now. So nggak ada nanya.
May I ask, Bu Yunita?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thanks.
Something?
Yeah. Sorry. I just want to start the questions just to encourage others also to ask the question. Izin Bapak dan Ibu saya memulai untuk bertanya, mungkin untuk juga menyemangati Bapak Ibu yang lainnya. So I would like to address the questions to Anwar probably, because I know will leave sooner than other speakers. Thank you, Professor Anwar, for your sharing. I'm curious about the impacts of the earthquake. That so far we only saw the impacts on Bangkok. What happened to the closer cities to the borderline of Myanmar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can
Okay.
inform us also. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you. Yes, actually, yeah, also near the border is more or less similar to, last week in the seminar, we also have one presentation from China as well. And in the northern part of Thailand, this is similar also to China, that we received the direct ground shaking. So the building got damaged from the direct ground shaking because this is not too far compared to Bangkok. So it's not things related to long period ground motion, but it's just related just because of it's closer to the epicenter. So both low-rise and high-rise building, not really high, but like 10 or 20 stories, like hospital or like a normal house or condominium also got damaged in the north as well. I'm going to this area in early June if I got approved. So maybe for the next opportunity, I would like to also report about this as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're still waiting for any question from the participants. Oh, Rifan. Yes, Dr. Rifan.
Thank you, Bu Yunita. I have several questions about the mechanism of Sakai fault. Maybe this
Hmm,
actually for bauxite.
suaranya putus-putus, Pak. Mungkin bisa di...
Oke, ini sudah
Oh,
lebih jelas, Bu.
sudah.
Ya, baik. Is there any possible to define the displacement of Sakai fault from Myanmar? That is the first question. And the second question is there any direct relation between Limau segment and the earthquake near Simelu? Is from any data, is there any relation from these two events? Thank you, Dr. Hussein.
Okay. So we would like to invite Prof. Muksin.
I'm sorry, the first question is it possible to find what I...
This displacement, something? Yeah, displacement.
Oh, the displacement.
Displacement of the model.
Yeah, I think there are some people is working on that about the displacement, but I'm not doing that. But I just compare the seismicity after the 7.7 magnitude of Myanmar earthquake, and it seems that the Sumatra and the Sagaing Fault is related each other. That's why I suggested that maybe they are related. But regarding your second question, there is no direct relation between the Sagaing Fault and the Simelu earthquake. But you know, after the stress release, then the stress can be released to everywhere. Like the stress can be the Sagaing Fault stress can be released to the India Burma conversion, and then it trigger some earthquake along the Sumatra subduction zone. And there are several earthquake along Sumatra subduction zone with magnitude, of course, less than 5, following the 7.7 Myanmar earthquake. And after that, that could be related with the I think 7th of April Simelu earthquake. Yeah. So it's not directly, but based on the timing of the occurrence of the earthquake could be related. So that's what I mean.
Thank you, Prof. Muksin. So any related question probably? Or any other question to our presenters? Now, you can ask by raise the hand or chat in the box, I think.
Well, I think the presenter is already left.
Well, we still have Mr. Adrian and Prof. Muksin here.
Okay, actually, I have a question related to the Thailand readiness, in terms of having the earthquake. But since both of the presenter that already visit Thailand and from Thailand is already left, I think the question is not really related, not relevant again, or what? Oh, should I just throw it the question and then maybe can answer together, or what?
You can also email because both of the presenters welcoming the email if you have any related question to their presentation.
Okay, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bu Yunita,
Yes, please.
boleh nanya ya?
Boleh. Ini mana sih?
Eh, Kalau dari segi kesiapan ya, kalau dilihat occurrence gempa itu kan kita sering sekali. Dari semua negara yang terdampak di Asia Tenggara saja, kita nggak put Japan outside. Mana yang paling siap dan bagaimana kita bisa belajar, terutama Aceh. Sudah di drilling sejak setelah tsunami itu setiap kejadian tetap aja chaos gitu. Thank you.
Terima kasih pendapatnya. Mungkin bisa ditanggapin oleh siapa mungkin Pak Adrian mungkin ya. Memang ini pendapat ya. Mungkin bisa jadi bahan diskusi kita bersama juga. Jadi saya open untuk tidak hanya ke presenters, mungkin dari partisipan yang lain bisa juga memberikan pendapat, tidak hanya pertanyaan. So not only question, but you can also have your opinion related to the lesson learned. Our topic today, lesson learned from the 7.7 magnitude of the earthquake in Mandalay-Myanmar. Maybe we can correlate with our situation here in Aceh or in Indonesia because or in your country for all the participants. So we welcome any opinion and discussion. So we just heard the opinion from Bu Dewi terkait dengan kesiap-siapan ya, related to the preparedness of the earthquake. So we have many drill, we have many practice, and we have many training, but we still feeling unprepared. So the chaos still there. But maybe is there any suggestion or something that we can discuss? Yeah. Okay. So
masih bisa bertanya, Ibu?
Oh yes, please. Siapa?
Baik, terima kasih. Perkenalkan, saya Lucia. Saya dari Fakultas Kesehatan Masyarakat Universitas Tadulako, Palu.
Silakan, Bu.
Terima kasih. Jadi ingin bertanya, mohon maaf kalau tidak menggunakan bahasa Inggris. Mau bertanya kira-kira bagaimana penanganan pada petugas kesehatan. Ini kan saya lihat korbannya cukup banyak. Bagaimana petugas kesehatan bisa menghandle dengan korban sebanyak itu dengan belum adanya bantuan dari luar sebelum datang bantuan, apa yang mereka lakukan seperti itu. Terima kasih.
Baik. Ya, pertanyaan Bu Lucia terkait dengan bagaimana sih kontingensi mungkin. Ini terkait dengan kontingensi juga ya kalau misalnya terjadinya bencana, kemudian ketidakcukupan ataupun lokasi ya kesiapsiagaan petugas medis dan juga tim emergency response terkait dengan penyelamatan dan kesehatan itu bagaimana. Nah ini mungkin terbuka tidak hanya pada gempa Mandalay ya Bu? Atau memang mau tahu tentang gempa Mandalay-nya, kondisi gempa di Mandalay?
Tanya bagaimana pas gempa di sana karena begini juga belajar dari Aceh, belajar dari Sulteng kemarin. Palu sendiri tuh cukup kelabakan dengan kejadian gempa yang sebenarnya ini sudah tahun ke-8 di kami, tapi belum ada betul-betul di rencana kontingensi untuk kira-kira ketika rumah sakit berdampak itu seperti apa yang harus dilakukan seperti itu. Nah, mereka kan negara ASEAN tapi sudah cukup maju, mungkin mereka punya trik tersendiri seperti apa. Itu, Ibu.
Mungkin karena memang tidak ada lagi teman kita ini presenter ataupun rekan-rekan kita yang dari Myanmar atau Thailand, mungkin saya persilakan Prof. Samsidik mungkin ya terkait dengan emergency response ini ya.
Ya,
ditanggapan.
Baik, terima kasih Ibu, Bapak sudah bertanya tadi ya. Memang tadi beberapa narasumber dua narasumber yang pertama dan yang terakhir itu mempersilahkan Bapak dan Ibu yang ingin mendalami terkait dengan kasus gempa ini, kalau tidak terwadahi dalam webinar ini nanti bisa meng-email langsung kepada beliau untuk bisa mendalaminya. Tapi saya akan meresponnya berdasarkan komunikasi informal saya dengan kedua narasumber ini ya. Pertama terkait dengan dampak ya, terkait dengan dampak terhadap penduduk di sekitar Thailand ya. Tadi mungkin sudah ada juga statistik terkait dengan berapa jumlah korban, bangunan rusak dan seterusnya yang ditampilkan oleh materi yang pertama. Tetapi memang dampak terhadap manusia itu tidak semasif gempa yang pernah kita hadapi baik itu di Palu maupun di Aceh ya. Bahkan yang kalau di Aceh yang terakhir misalnya yang gempa Pidijaya 2016 ya, kita mencatat jumlah korbannya itu 114 jiwa yang meninggal dunia. Belum lagi yang luka-luka dan yang lainnya. Itu tidak terjadi dalam konteks Thailandnya, tapi tidak begitu dengan yang Myanmar. Ya. Sayangnya memang kedua narasumber kita ini belum mendapat akses langsung untuk terjun ke Myanmar. Jadi informasi yang disampaikan itu baru terbatas di daerah Thailand saja. Itu mungkin, tapi saya tidak mau atau tidak berani barangkali melanjutkan menjelaskan untuk konteks ini kalau takut nanti keliru ya. Silakan Bapak dan Ibu untuk nanti meng-email para narasumber yang tadi sudah disebutkan, ada Prof. Anaus Pasti dan juga Dr. Natilawat. Terkait dengan kesiapsiagaan ya, tadi Bu Dewi sudah sampaikan ya. Dari yang sudah pernah terjadi baik itu di Indonesia atau di negara manapun, termasuk di Jepang juga misalnya, setiap ada peristiwa bencana yang rapid ya, yang sudden shock seperti gempa atau tsunami, itu akan terjadi situasi yang panik dan chaos. Tetapi memang derajat chaos dan paniknya itu yang berbeda-beda. Bedanya adalah ketika kepanikan dan tindakan atau kondisi chaos itu kemudian bisa di-manage jauh lebih baik ketimbang apa yang terjadi di Indonesia misalnya. Ya. Nah, kita bisa lihat di Jepang juga terjadi misalnya kemacetan, kecelakaan lalu lintas di dalam peristiwa tsunami tahun 2011 atau gempa tahun 2011 ya, atau misinformasi ya, dan seterusnya. Tapi memang relatif lebih terkontrol. Jadi yang disebut dengan crisis management gitu ya, atau panic management, panic situation managementnya itu lebih terkendali ya ketimbang kita ya. Nah, tapi kalau tadi pertanyaannya memang agak sulit kita pastikan karena memang tadi kan pertanyaannya mana negara yang paling baik ya di Asia Tenggara ini. Kalau sudahlah Jepang itu terlalu jauh dari standar kita, tapi mana gitu negara yang paling baik dekat ke sini yang bisa dicontoh. Ini menurut saya ya, tapi kita bebas saja untuk berdebat ya atau bertukar pendapat. Menurut saya untuk konteks gempa bumi dan tsunami kita memang masih lebih baik. Saya stop di situ, lebih baik. Tidak berani menambahkan jauh lebih baik, tapi mungkin lebih baik. Karena apa? Pertama dari struktur pendidikan kesiapsiagaan ya, kita sudah memasukkannya ke dalam materi ajar. Ya. Kemudian sistem peringatan dini juga sudah kita lakukan. Nah, ini kita tidak bisa dapatkan di negara-negara yang dekat-dekat kita, misalnya katakanlah di Malaysia juga tidak ada, karena memang konteks Malaysia tidak seurgen kita untuk menghadapi gempa bumi dan tsunami ya. Tapi katakanlah di Thailand juga, terakhir saya ke sana dalam 10 tahun tsunami, peringatan 10 tahun tsunami, itu penanganan recovery-nya juga penanganan kesiapsiagaannya juga belum seperti kita ya. Nah, tapi saya tidak tahu tahun-tahun terakhir, 20 tahun setelah tsunami Aceh. Jadi pendek kata kalau ditanya bagaimana kesiapsiagaan, mungkin kita lebih baik ya. Yang agak-agak mirip mungkin kondisi kita itu adalah sebenarnya dengan Filipina. Nah, karena kalau Filipina ini konteks bencananya mirip dengan kita, tsunami, gempa, bahkan mereka ada topan lagi ya. Dan saya tahu bahwa aktivis kebencanaan di Filipina juga cukup banyak. Mungkin itu ya jawaban sederhana dari saya. Saya kira itu. Saya kembalikan pada Bu Yunita. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Prof. Samsidi. Mungkin kita masih membuka berapa menit nih? Mungkin sekitar 10 menit lagi untuk diskusi, ya, sesi diskusi. Dan kita juga masih ada dua narasumber kita di sini, ada Mr. Adrian, Pak Adrian, dan Prof. Muksin. Sangat menarik ya, karena kajiannya tentang dampak gempa yang terjadi mungkin berapa kilometer, 1000 kilometer ya dari tempat yang dikaji Thailand, karena memang informasi terkait dengan kondisi Myanmar ini juga terbatas ya. Tapi efek yang muncul di di media-media massa, di sosial media itu adalah dampaknya terhadap kota yang berada 1000 kilometer dari lokasi gempa. Nah, jadi yang disebut dengan distant earthquake. Sehingga kajiannya lebih ke kesiapsiagaan dan early warning system. Nah, ini juga menjadi pembelajaran buat kita juga ya, di mana sumber ancaman itu jauh, tetapi 2004 juga seperti itu, tsunami yang berdampak ke wilayah-wilayah yang sangat jauh dari lokasinya. Nah, mungkin ada insightful opinion dari peserta, ataupun mungkin ada semacam pengalaman juga ya. Bisa kami buka untuk 10 menit ini. Boleh Pak. Boleh Prof, silahkan.
Enggak, saya saya mau bertanya langsung ke Pak Adrian, ada sebelah saya. Saya tertarik kalau misalnya gempanya di selatan Jawa, misalnya. Atau di Jawa bagian selatan ya. Bagaimana dengan gedung-gedung tinggi yang ada di Jakarta?
Ya, ini mungkin yang sangat kita dengar. Mungkin ya, tapi saya mencoba jawab dengan perspektif saya dan pengetahuan saya. Jadi kita yang terjadi di Mandalay, gempa Mandalay itu kan berdampak ke pokok, padahal dia jauh juga ya. Juga sebenarnya itu ada juga kejadian di bagian Meksiko, di mana sumbernya itu jauh, tapi akhirnya kota Meksiko yang teramplifikasi sangat besar. Itu sebagai ahli mengatakan kalau itu karena ada indikasi dari soft. Jadi dia mengamplifikasi getaran. Nah, kalau kita memang secara konsep getaran, bangunan itu dia justru lebih rentan dengan goyangan yang anteng-anteng memang. Tapi untuk yang sifatnya dekat dengan sumber patahan, kita bisa lihat di Cianjur kan dekat dengan patahan. Nah, di patahan biasanya akselerasinya itu lebih tinggi dia, jadi lebih sensitif dengan bangunan yang rendah. Nah, jadi ketika gempa itu intensitasnya cukup tinggi, biasanya engineer itu tidak misalkan ya, kita membangun gedung dekat dengan lokasi patahan. Itu memang sudah ada studinya, dan di SNI juga sebenarnya kalau kita di lokasi ketempatan ada unsur yang harus kita lakukan, tidak bisa dengan hal yang normatif dan biasa saja. Nah, untuk menjawab itu kayaknya mungkin ya kalau seperti yang kita lihat dan juga secara teori memang kalau gempanya terjadi di patahan yang jauh, intensitasnya jauh ke Jakarta ya. Kalau intensitas getarannya itu lebih anteng-anteng, mungkin bisa saja itu sangat berdampak pada bangunan. Contohnya juga kita lihat di Bangkok itu kan banyak bangunan tinggi yang pusing, kayak di atasnya itu dan kolam renang itu airnya berjatuhan itu karena memang dia ngehit si natural frekuensi si bangunannya. Tapi sementara kalau yang si bangunan rendah itu justru lebih rentan dengan yang intensitas getaran itu lebih tinggi gitu ya, guncangan itu lebih cepat gitu. Itu sih insight dari saya. Ya mungkin sedikit address lagi ya, kita ini mungkin amatan saya saja, tapi memang kelihatannya memang nggak tahu kenapa intensitas gempa itu kayaknya semakin lama makin tinggi. Jadi mungkin sedikit aja misalkan kayak di Bangkok kalau dilihat sebenarnya gempanya kan lebih banyak terpusat di dekat patahan Sagang, Sagaing, Sagaing di dekat Myanmar. Jadi tidak untuk kemungkinan efek itu bisa ke lokasi yang baik saja di masa lalu gitu. Kalimantan kan awalnya kita kira tidak ada intensitas gempa yang tinggi, tapi akhirnya beberapa kali malah malah meng-highlight ada kemungkinan ada patahan juga dan mungkin ada intensitas gempa yang agak mungkin cukup tinggi begitu. Jadi mungkin dari kita ya para engineer ya saya rasa yang paling tepat adalah memitigasinya dengan membangun gedung yang memang gempa ya dan juga terus melakukan riset dan untuk ketika terjadi bencana.
Baik. Terima kasih, Adrian. Saya tunggu mungkin 1 menit 2 menit ini. Kalau memang tidak ada lagi, kita akan tutup dan tutup sesi tanya jawab dan mungkin masuk ke closing remarks ya. Oh ya, foto bersama ya. On cam. Hah?
Mohon di on cam semua.
Oh, baik. Baik, kalau memang tidak ada lagi sebelum saya tutup, mungkin kita lakukan foto bersama dulu. Mohon peserta untuk on kamera supaya indah ya kelihatan dokumentasinya. Silakan Bapak Ibu bersiap-siap. Untuk fotonya siapa saya serahkan ke Rizka ya untuk aba-aba fotonya. 3 kali take ya. Ada 3 page ini. 3 itu. Prof Samsudin, ada 2.
Mohon izin Bapak dan Ibu yang belum menghidupkan kameranya mohon dihidupkan ya.
Wah, oh.
Oke Bapak dan Ibu semuanya tersenyum. Kita lakukan foto 1, 2, 3. Oke, untuk sekali lagi ya. 1, 2, 3. Oke, sudah. Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu semuanya. Silahkan untuk menonaktifkan kameranya. Saya kembalikan kepada moderator.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Kita sudah sampai kepada tahap akhir dari Oke. Sampai pada tahap akhir seminar series kita yang ke-34 kali ini. Saya lihat di sini banyak Bapak kolega-kolega kami yang dari luar Aceh, yang praktisi dari kebencanaan, dosen-dosen di luar juga. Sangat senang kita berkumpul dan mendengar presentasi dari teman-teman kita, profesor-profesor dari Thailand, Indonesia, dan Jepang terkait dengan situasi dan respon ya, lesson learned di Thailand. Ada sebelum saya tutup terakhir kali, maka kami mengundang Bapak Ibu, hari ini terakhir ya? Atau ada perpanjangan lagi Pak? Hari ini terakhir untuk submit abstrak di IUSDR yang insya Allah akan dilaksanakan secara hybrid di London dengan organizer apa namanya UCL University of College London dan USK serta Irides Tohku juga Sydney University hostnya. Nah, hari ini terakhir nih Bapak Ibu akan dibuka websitenya, dan bagi yang berminat untuk submit abstraknya kami tunggu hari ini. Baiklah, kita sudah sampai pada tahap akhir. Sekali lagi terima kasih kepada para presenter dan juga partisipan yang kami hormati sudah meluangkan waktu untuk bersama dengan kami di seminar seri ke-34 TDMRC. Akhirul kalam, saya minta maaf atas segala kekurangan semasa memandu acara. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi.
Terima kasih, Bapak.
Terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Salam. Oh ya.
Ya kata lain belum beli Pak, karena mereka bermasalahnya ini kinerja. Itu apa belum beli.
Pastikan itu di-upload ya.
Akan dikirim sekarang.
Jadi solusi di surat.
Surat yang kirim surat. Kenapa coba-coba gak?
Karena